Chapter 8, Human Environment Interactions, the Tropical and the Subtropical Region. So we will be covering the tropical and the subtropical region. So let's start. Renuka was excited. Shrikant's uncle was home after a gap of nearly 4 months. He was a wildlife photographer and traveled widely. Renuka's interest in wildlife and forests began at an early age when her uncle introduced her to books on nature. Pictures of distant lands and people who lived there always fascinated her. In these pictures, Renuka, you can see people from different parts of the world, some from dry deserts, some from frozen lands, and some from hot, wet rainforests. They look so different from me, observed Renuka. They may look different, but they share the same basic needs of life. Three basic needs of life are food, clothing, and shelter. Explained Shrikant uncle. Their children do the same things as you probably do. Play games, quarrel sometimes, and then make up, sing, dance, and help the families with various things that need to be done. They live closer to nature and very early in their lives have learned to care for nature. They learn how to catch fish and how to collect material from the forests. Life in the Amazon basin. Before learning about the Amazon basin, let us look at map. See here you can locate Amazon basin in the green, right? Notice that the tropical region lies very close to the equator between 10° north and 10° south. See here. You can see it. Here you can see 10° north and 10° south. So it is referred to as the equatorial region. The river Amazon flows through this region. So river Amazon flows through the equatorial region. Notice how it flows from the mountains to the west and reaches the Atlantic Ocean to the east. See, this blue, you can see here this blue. This all is the river. The river is traveling from here and here. And then it starts from the west and then it reaches to the east. Okay. The place where a river flows into another body of water is called the river's mouth. Now, what is the definition of river's mouth? Let's repeat. The place where a river flows into another body of water is called river's mouth. Numerous tributaries join the Amazon River to form the Amazon Basin. The river basin drains portion of Brazil, parts of Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia, and a small part of Venezuela. Now let's read this blue box. On the left, do you know? When Spanish explorers discovered the Amazon River, they were attacked by a group of local tribes wearing headgears and grass skirts. These people reminded them of the fierce tribes of women warriors known in ancient Roman Empire as the Amazons. So the tribal people were known as Amazons earlier. Hence the name Amazon discovered. Now what are tributaries? Now these are small rivers that join the main river. Now for example, the tributary of Ganga is Yamuna, Son, and many more, many rivers, right? So these are the small rivers that join the main river. So these small rivers will join the main river, which is Ganga. The main river along with all its tributaries that drain an area forms a river basin or the catchment area. The Amazon basin is the largest river basin in the world. This is the largest river basin, right? So this question can also come. Now climate. Climate in the Amazon basin. Now as you now know, the Amazon basin stretches directly on the equator and is characterized by a hot and wet climate throughout the year. Both day and nights are almost equally hot and humid. The skin feels sticky. It rains almost every day. That too without much more warning, right? So when it rains every day, there is a lot of moisture in that area, and that moisture you will always feel sticky on your skin, and it will always remain hot and humid. So it rains almost every day, that too without much warning. The day temperatures are high with very high humidity. At night the temperature goes down, but the humidity remains high. Now rainforest. As it rained heavily in the region, thick forests grow, right? You can see in the picture, thick forests grow. The forests are in fact so thick that the dense roof created by leaves and branches does not allow the sunlight to reach the ground. The ground remains dark and damp, or means wet. It's always wet and it's never dry. You will always, if you will step on it, you will feel like you will sink down, right? So dark and damp. Only shade-tolerant vegetation may grow here. Orchids, bromeliads grow as plant parasites. Okay, so you have to learn these both. Orchids and bromeliads grow as plant parasites in rainforests of Amazon basin. The rainforest is rich in fauna. Birds such as toucans, hummingbirds, macaw with their brilliantly colored plumage, oversized bills for eating them make them different from birds we commonly see in India. These birds also make loud sounds in the forest. Animals like monkeys, sloth, and ant-eating tapirs are found here. So these are the animals and those were the birds. You have to learn all these things. Various species of reptiles and snakes also thrive in these jungles. Now, because it is a thick forest, so snakes, this is the best place, or you can say the best home for the snakes to survive, right? So various species of reptiles and snakes also thrive in these jungles. Then crocodiles, snakes, pythons abound. Anaconda and boa constrictor are some of the species. Besides, the basin is home to thousands of species of insects. Several species of fishes, including the flesh-eating piranha fish, is also found in the river. This basin is thus extraordinarily rich in the variety of life found there. Now the blue box on the right hand side, do you know? Bromeliads are special plants that store water in their leaves. Animals like frogs use these pockets of water for laying their eggs. Now people of the rainforest. People grow most of their food in small areas after clearing some trees in the forest. While men hunt and fish along the rivers, women take care of the crops. They mainly grow tapioca, pineapple, and sweet potato. As hunting and fishing are uncertain, it is the women who keep their families alive by feeding them the vegetable they grow. They practice slash and burn agriculture. Now, what is slash and burn agriculture? Let's read about it. On the left hand side, do you know box? Slash and burn is a way of cultivating land where farmers clear a piece of land by slashing or cutting down trees and bushes. These are then burnt, which releases the nutrients into the soil. New crops are grown in this cleared field for a few years. Now, after repeatedly using the patch of land, the soil loses its nutrients, so it is abandoned. Then they clear another plot of land to plant. In the meantime, young trees grow in the old field. In this way, soil fertility is restored. People can then return to it and start cultivating it again. Okay? So let's come back to our paragraph here. The staple food of these people is manioc, also known as cassava, that grows around the ground like the potato. They also eat queen ants and egg sacs. Cash crops like coffee, maize, and cocoa are also grown here. Cash crops are the crops which are sold in the market for cash. The rainforest provides a lot of wood for the houses. Some families live in thatched houses shaped like beehives. There are other large apartment-like houses called maloca with a steeply slanting roof. Okay. Now, life of the people of the Amazon basin is slowly changing. In the older days, the heart of the forest could be reached only by navigating the river. In 1970, the Trans-Amazon Highway made all parts of the rainforest accessible. Aircrafts and helicopters are also used for reaching various places. The indigenous population was pushed out from the area and forced to settle in new areas where they continue to practice their distinctive way of farming. The developmental activities are leading to the gradual destruction of the biologically diverse rainforests. It is estimated that a large area of the rainforest has been disappearing annually in the Amazon basin, right? So a large area, so actually the Amazon basin is reducing, right? You can see that this destruction of forest has a much wider implication. The topsoil is washed away as the rains fall and the lush forest turns into a barren landscape. You all must be aware of soil erosion. Now, in the places where there is more rain, soil erosion occurs more, right? So, the soil in this, when what is soil erosion? Soil erosion is the erosion of soil from the top land, and as soil is very much important for the vegetation, for the trees, when the soil erosion occurs, it leads to deforestation. Like the place gets barren. The trees, because there will be no soil, so there will be no plants, there will be no trees. So the area becomes a barren landscape, which is not good. Now, now we'll start with Ganga-Brahmaputra basin. The Amazon basin is complete there. Here we have completed with the Amazon basin. Now life in the Ganga-Brahmaputra basin. The tributaries of river Ganga and Brahmaputra together form the Ganga-Brahmaputra basin in the Indian subcontinent. The basin lies in the subtropical region that is situated between 10° north to 30° north latitudes. See here. See, here you can see it clearly. Here in this area. Okay. So 10° to 30° north. The tributaries of the river Ganga. Now I have already told you the two rivers, the two tributaries, and more are the tributaries of the river Ganga, like the Ghagra, the Son, the Chambal, the Gandak, the Kosi, and the tributaries of Brahmaputra drain it. The plains of the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, the mountains and the foothills of the Himalayas, and the Sundarbans Delta are the main features of this basin. Oxbow lakes dot the plain area. The area is dominated by monsoon climate. The monsoon brings rain from mid-June to mid-September. The summers are hot and the winters cool. See, now they are asking you to look at figure 8.8 and find out the states in which the Ganga-Brahmaputra basin lies. So this is the figure 8. See, here you can see this area and then the states, right? So the basin area has varied topography. The environment plays a dominant role in the distribution of the population. The mountain areas with steep slopes have inhospitable terrain. Therefore, less number of people live in the mountain area of the Ganga-Brahmaputra basin. The plain area provides the most suitable land for human habitation. The soil is fertile. Agriculture is the main occupation of the people where flat land is available to grow crops. The density of population of the plains is very high. The main crop is paddy. Since cultivation of paddy requires sufficient water, it is grown in the areas where the amount of rainfall is high. We people live in plains. Here the people who live in the North India, they live in plains. So they are talking about the plains area. So wheat, maize, sorghum, gram and millets are the other crops that are grown here. Cash crops like sugarcane and jute are also grown here. Banana plantations are seen in some areas of the plain. In West Bengal and Assam, tea is grown in plantations. Silk is produced through the cultivation of silkworm in parts of Bihar and Assam. In the mountain of hills where the slopes are gentle, crops are grown on terraces. The vegetation cover of the area varies according to the type of landforms. In the Ganga and Brahmaputra plain, tropical deciduous trees grow along with teak, sal and peepal. Thick bamboo groves are common in the Brahmaputra plain. The delta area is covered with the Mangrove forests. In parts of Uttarakhand, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh, coniferous trees like pine, deodar and fir can be seen because the climate is cool and the slopes are steep. There is a variety of wildlife in the basin. Elephants, tigers, deer and monkeys are common. The one-horned rhinoceros is found in the Brahmaputra plain. In the delta area, Bengal tiger and crocodiles are found. Aquatic life abounds in the fresh river waters, the lakes and the Bay of Bengal Sea. The most popular varieties of the fish are the rohu, katla and hilsa. Fish and rice is a staple diet of the people living in the area. Now let's come back to the last page and let's read this glossary, the yellow one on the left hand side. Population density. It means the number of persons that live in 1 square kilometer of area. Example, the population density of Uttarakhand is 189, while the density of West Bengal is 1029 and that of Bihar is 1102. So, this shows that how populated a state is or a city is. Now come to the next page. Page number 61. Do you know? Let's read this. Do you know on the right hand side? Terraces are built on steep slopes to create flat surfaces on which crops are grown. The slope is removed so that water does not run off rapidly, right? And this is known as terrace farming. Then the next one, do you know? In the fresh waters of river Ganga and river Brahmaputra, a variety of dolphin locally called susu, also called blind dolphin, is found. The presence of susu is an indication of the health of the river, right? The untreated industrial and urban waste with high amount of chemicals are killing this species. So having this blind dolphin, it is healthy for the river, but the urban waste and the industrial, that those chemicals are killing this dolphin, which is not good for our lakes, for our oceans. Now, a lake, a source of livelihood, a case study. Vinod is a fisherman living in the Matwali Mound village of Bihar. He is a happy man today. With the efforts of the fellow fishermen Ravinder, Kishore, Rajiv and others, he cleaned the mound or the oxbow lake to cultivate different varieties of fish. The local weed, Valinaria hydrilla, that grows in the lake is the food of the fish. So these weeds are the food of the fish. These grow without any effort, right? So weeds grow anywhere without any effort. They self grow. Okay. So the land around the lake is fertile. He sows crops such as paddy, maize, and pulses in these fields. The buffalo is used to plough the land. The community is satisfied. There is enough fish catch from the river, enough fish to eat, enough fish to sell in the market. They have even begun supply to the neighboring town. The community is living in harmony with nature. As long as the pollutants from nearby towns do not find their way into the lake waters, the fish cultivation will not face any threat, because the urban waste, the industrial chemicals, they kill the fishes, the aquatic animals. Now let's see this do you know box on the left. To accelerate the efforts to achieve universal sanitation coverage and to put force on sanitation, the Prime Minister of India launched the Swachh Bharat mission on 2nd October 2014. The Ganga-Brahmaputra plain has several big towns and cities. The cities of Allahabad, Kanpur, Varanasi, Lucknow, Patna and Kolkata, all with the population of more than 10 lakhs, are located along the river Ganga. The wastewater from these towns and industries is discharged into the rivers. This leads to the pollution of the rivers. Now, all the four ways of transport are well developed in the Ganga-Brahmaputra basin. In the plain areas, the roadways and railway transport the people from one place to another. The waterways as an effective means of transport, particularly along the rivers. Kolkata is an important port on the river Hooghly. The plain area also has a large number of airports. Now, tourism is another important activity of this basin, Ganga-Brahmaputra. Taj Mahal on the banks of river Yamuna in Agra, Allahabad on the confluence of the river Ganga and Yamuna, Buddhist stupas in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, Lucknow with its Imambara, Assam with Kaziranga and Manas with wildlife sanctuaries, and Arunachal Pradesh with a distinct tribal culture are some of the places worth the visit. So here we come to the end of this chapter. I will upload the exercise in the next video. But before ending, let us read this do you know box on the left. To conserve the river Ganga, Namami Ganga program has been initiated by the government of India, of course. Right? So this is the end of the end of this chapter. Thank you.